Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea. I hope you're all good. So I hope you enjoyed that little tune at the beginning of this video. That was using exclusively Neural DSP plugins on all the guitars and bass. For the guitar, it was just the Plini Archetype plugin, and on the bass it was the Parallax plugin, and on the drums was Superior Drummer. But I wanted to focus on the guitar. Basically, I was using the Plini Archetype plugin when I was away, and I thought just how amazing it is to have that quality of sound as a plugin that you can use with your interface anywhere you are with a laptop and a guitar. It's incredible. So I thought if I make a little tune, because I'd really like to hear how things work in a mix. Sure enough, it was really easy to mix the tune, and I'm really happy with the result. Then came the idea for this video. I thought if I show you how it sounds in a mix, then I can also share the presets I've made in the Archetype plugin for you guys to use if you use the Plini Archetype plugin. If you don't know what it is, it's an incredible plugin designed with Plini and Neural DSP. There's 3 amps, there's clean, crunch and overdrive. It's got reverb and delay, it's got a compressor and a overdrive pedal. You've even got post EQ and a whole cab simulator miking digitally and all that stuff, and you can load your own IRs as well. It's fantastic, I can't stress that enough. If you've not heard of it, there's a link in the description box below, and in this video I've used just completely exclusively the Neural DSP plugins. So I wanted to take you through the tones I've used in the video, and then of course you can click the link in the description box and get these presets for yourself. So let's check it out. So the first preset I'm going to share with you guys is the lead preset. This is a little bit thinner. I'm using the overdrive pedal to tighten up that low end and give me more sustain. As you can see, flicking through all the different windows, somewhere on screen you'll see all the different presets. But this is the main tone that I used for that. It's covered in reverb and delay, and there's quite a bit of gain using the high gain amp. Let's have a listen. This is the guitar I used on the recording as well for the rhythm and the lead, so this is the same guitar. This is my signature bare knuckle pickup prototype, but generally speaking it does depend on what guitar you are using if it sounds the same to you at your end, but of course also your studio monitors, however you're listening to it. So anyway, this is how it sounds for me. That gives you a quick idea of how the lead sounds. It's a really nice sound, tons of sustain. Certain notes on your guitar will go into that harmonic overtone feedback, like for me it's 9th on B. You can hear it's doing it. It's quite low in the room in terms of volume, so if I was to turn that up a bit, you'd probably jump into that area more. But it's a really vocal, nice sound for me. I really enjoy it, especially with this guitar. Just tons of sustain and it's liquid feeling, so yeah, really enjoy that. Let's move on. We'll go down because for some reason I started with lead, so we'll move on to the heavy rhythm tones now. Alright, next I want to show you the rhythm tone. It's a double tracked recording, of course, so I'm using a left and a right tone. So at the minute we're going to hear the right hand side. Obviously it's going to be centered in the video, but if you get these presets and you want to record with them, pan this one to the right if you want. This is using the crunch amp, but gunning the gain and using the overdrive pedal to get me like a high gain rhythm tone. I just wanted to blend the two channels a bit more. One's warmer and thicker and the other one's a bit more bitey. So I like doing that, generally speaking, especially because I was using the same guitar, which I don't normally do. I'll switch it up, but for the sake of this video, I thought it was easier just to use the same guitar, same everything, so you're hearing the presets rather than the guitar influencing that. Anyway, this is the heavy rhythm side on the right. You may have noticed a little bit of reverb and delay on the rhythm, which is something I do if I'm doing like a wall of sound guitar rhythm part. If it's more tight, intricate rhythm, you know, high gain rhythm playing, I won't do that. But for the sake of, if it's just a wall of sound and chords, I think it just smooths everything out, especially when everything compresses together. It's like a tonal glue, if that makes sense. Generally speaking, I use reverb and delay on a lot of the heavy Tosca stuff if it's not really intricate. I just think it works, but it's just me. You can turn it off if you want. Sounds, you know, when you're playing chords and stuff, you really do get a nice... Not really noticeable, but it is there. Anyway, let's move on to the left-hand side. Okay, so now we're on to the left-hand side. This is using the high gain amp, and again, a little bit reverb and delay for the wall of sound kind of thing, but this is a lot thicker and bitier. So some random noodling again, but you can hear how it's thicker when you double track these and put them either side. One's got more bite, one's got more girth, and the two together really just sound great in the middle. And you know, obviously with it being hard panned left and right, you can differentiate the two quite nicely. It just adds a nice sound. So I would double track with those two, but also great for lead as well. So now let's move on to the crunch sounds. Moving on, we're on to crunch left now. So this is got reverb and delay for my kind of versy ambient crunch tone. It's very similar to the kind of thing I like to get. I don't normally use a clean. It's always got a bit of crunch to it, especially with a high gain pickup. This is how it sounds. So you get the idea. It's a crunch. The harder you play, the more gainy it gets, but it's a dynamic kind of sound. It really, really works for the kind of finger, like picked patterns. That kind of stuff, I find it works really well. And again, this is meant to be double tracked. So this is the left-hand side. Let's move over to the right-hand side. Okay, so we're onto the crunch right-hand side. I'm actually using the clean amp on this, but I've gained it up. So I've boosted the gain, added the overdrive pedal, just for a different tone of crunch rather than using the same. Because I'm using the same guitar, I thought if I mix the channels more, it's probably going to help me out. Just to get a difference in tone that's distinctive. And it works when you hard pan stuff. So anyway, this is how it sounds. So there is the crunch right hand side, and again it's nice if you play picked patterns. So there you go. There is the other crunch sound that can clean up really nicely. After all, it is the clean amp, but that would cover all of the tones that I used in the recording, whether it be the crunch that I used for all the verse section, and then I used the high gain rhythm, and then of course the lead on top. So it was just done with those sounds. So I'm going to share those presets with you. You should be able to get them in a link in the comment section, but well, in the description box below even, if you want to try them out yourself. If you've not heard of this plugin or you're interested, I'll put a link to that in the description box as well. I can't recommend it enough. It's a fantastic suite of awesome guitar tone that you can use wherever you go. If you've got an interface in your guitar and a laptop or whatever, it sounds great, especially if you want to get modern tones. Anything from modern cleans to the crunchy kind of stuff, and then the high gain sort of progressive metal rhythm or lead. And again, having like a tube screamer, reverb and delay, it can kind of do a lot of stuff. Even if you play a Strat or a Tele, I guarantee you're going to get some tones out of this thing that you love. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the tune. Hope this video was cool. And if you do get the presets, I hope you enjoy those too. I've been Rabea, and I will see you all very soon.